The ANC is set to elect its next leader at its National Elective Conference in 2027, but speculation is already swirling over who will succeed Cyril Ramaphosa. The frontrunner is Paul Mashatile, deputy president of both the country and the ANC, who is champing at the bits for the job, according to the Daily Maverick. Also in the frame is Ronald Lamola, Minister of International Relations and Cooperation. But Mashatile's path to the presidency is anything but smooth. He's been dogged by scandal. Most recently, an investigation revealed that his sister-in-law was cut into the consortium awarded the license to run the national lottery in South Africa. It's not the first time his financial dealings have raised eyebrows. So, is he still the most likely candidate to lead the ANC and the country in 2027? Or does the lingering whiff of controversy, which isn't new for Mashatile, diminish his chances? Could he make a move on Ramaphosa before then? Or is something more strategic at play? Political analyst Theo Venter is in the Bigger Picture studio to break it all down. Paul Mashatile that we often discuss. Do you think the fact that he has been so closely associated with this tender to his family members for the National Lottery hurts his chances of becoming president?
And there is a discussion in that direction at the moment where people are saying that there is an informal arrangement between Ramaphosa and Mashatile, that Mashatile, with all these questions about his lifestyle, about the expensive houses that he occupies, which of course his salary cannot sustain, that he may stay on as deputy president, but he will not be elected as president. He's not electable. Now that is informal. That's not formal. Because in the ANC tradition, the deputy president moves on to become the president. But that process was stopped with the previous deputy president when he was, basically he withdrew from the process and Mashatile became the deputy. Otherwise, we still would have had the previous deputy president. So that fixed arrangement that the deputy moves on to become the president has been broken at least once. And that is the discussion that they have at the moment with Mashatile, saying, okay, you can stay on as deputy, but you're not going to become president. But it is not clear to us who then will take the top slot over from Ramaphosa. And that is why the working in the regions and in the branches by Fikile and Balula is so important. It almost happens under the radar, but there is a lot of work happening at the moment to get the right people elected in the right spots, because eventually at a national consultative conference and at a national conference, it's about numbers, it's about mobilization, it's about slots and slates, it's about preparing people for who to vote for and who not to vote for. This thing that people go to those conferences with a clear mind and that they decide on their own accord who to elect, that is nonsense. Most of the political parties that I know of in the world are lobbying in a very, very important way. It happens in America, it happens in England, it happens all over the place. So, and I think in the ANC is just a normal political party. Although it says it doesn't do this, it doesn't do that, it's really a freedom or a liberation movement. Those are just a kind of a narrative they would like to put forward. But in all other aspects, they're a normal party managing normal expectations and mobilizing in a normal way.
But Theo, if there is this agreement between Paul Mashatile and Cyril Ramaphosa that he will not stand for president, it doesn't quite look like that. Because when you're a journalist and you're on the feed of the Government Communication and Information, a GCIS, you see him more than Ramaphosa. He's everywhere. He travels. There's a lot of visibility, which almost looks like somebody running for a campaign.
Now, that's true, but like I said, the scenario that I sketched was kind of gossip that I hear. But you're quite right. In terms of normal day-to-day activity, he's a very active deputy. He travels a lot. Um, and the weird part of his travels, it's just interesting when Ramaphosa was in Canada for the G7. Mashatile was in France. And I looked at the delegation and I started counting, and I didn't see a single member of another political party of the GNU being accommodated on what was an official state visit. That to me was quite alarming. While when you look at the delegation that went to the G7 or that went to the White House, you can see at least that they incorporating some members of the GNU. And that's why members of the GNU are validly asking, guys, are we here just at the behest of the ANC, a 40% party, managing the country as if they've got 67% of the vote? And I think this situation is still going to unfold in a clearer way. The ANC will have to, in some way or another, give more uh, credit to the other members of the GNU. And currently, I do not see that happening.